Hi everyone, I'm Gautam, aka the Seeker of Wisdom. I'm a manifestation coach, and in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about putting pressure on yourself whilst manifesting an SP, especially during the festive seasons. Now, before I do so, I'd like to remind you guys I am available for coaching, so I offer hourly, monthly, email, and DM coaching along with premium coaching right now, which is basically unlimited calls and unlimited DM. So be sure to email me or DM me via Instagram to figure out what plans may be suitable for you, and we can take it from there. Now I have two different Facebook groups right now. A free Facebook group which is going to be community led, and also a paid Facebook group where I'm going to be answering questions, where I'm going to be hosting live videos for different time zones and so on. So if you guys need any information on that, email me or DM me as well. I still have my mailing list where I post articles and my latest offers for coaching. And last but not least, I also have the Manifest Your SP bundle, which comes with several different courses and DM options along with calls. And I also have a self-concept masterclass that I'm hosting. So if you guys need any information on that, feel free to DM me or email me, and I'll walk you through it all. So without further ado, guys, let's get to it. So this topic of putting pressure on yourself when manifesting an SP, especially during the festive seasons, has been somewhat been a dominant topic recently. Like I find myself talking about this specific topic with a lot of my clients, even with my friend circle, and I thought, you know what, I need to do a video on this because I'm pretty sure this will be useful for many of you out there at the moment. Um, One thing that I have noticed in my coaching experience is that regardless of whether you are in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s and upwards, right? Because I've coached people from all of those age groups and all around the world, right? One thing that I've noticed is that love is the same across all of these decades. It doesn't really change much as one might think. When I started coaching, I thought, okay, um, it's going to be different and for different decades, and it's going to be interesting to kind of look at it. But to my surprise, right? And some of you may already know this, but I was really surprised to find out that it's pretty much the same throughout the decades actually. Like love doesn't evolve that much throughout the decades. I mean, there are going to be subtle changes, and it's going to vary from individual to individual and all that kind of jazz. Like, that's fine. But I'm talking like the general building blocks of it pretty much remains the same throughout the decades. The need to feel love, care, and attention, um, that still remains the same, I would say, throughout the decades. And I really want to talk about the idea of like putting pressure during festive seasons, because this is something that folks tend to do regardless of age group as well, right? One might think again, if you are older, this wouldn't bother you too much or something like that, right? Like again, this was impressions that I had when I was getting into this space 2 years ago. But of course this was not the case, right? Regardless of what age group you are, if you are single, for example, during the festive seasons, it's really very normal to feel like lonely, for example, or to feel a sense of longingness or something like that, right? And it's only heightened when like the ones around you have someone to share this happiness with, or have a bunch of people to celebrate it with or something like that, right? But especially the need for a partner gets heightened during the festive seasons or Valentine's Day, or even during their special, like personalized days like birthdays and so on and so forth, right? So the need to be celebrating successes and happy times with someone else gets really really heightened during certain times of the year, and festive seasons being one of the main ones, I would say. And I really want to say, firstly, like I said, like it's normal to feel that, right? Don't feel bad for feeling that emotion, especially if you are going through your journey right now, if you are manifesting an SP right now, and if you are feeling that kind of emotions. Don't feel bad, right? Like it's normal to feel such things, because society kind of pushes this whole narrative of like, hey, look, everybody's happy, everybody's going out there buying things, and like you see it in ads, you see it on social media and all that kind of things, and it just really makes you feel crappy, right? So what's the solution for this? First, stop comparing. right? Stop comparing yourself with others. Stop comparing yourself with friends. Stop comparing yourself with others in society, celebrities on social media, and things like that, right? Stop comparing yourself. Like, a lot of your issues with regards to these types of things can really be resolved if you just stop comparing. Everyone's journey is so damn unique that it's so unfair to compare yourself, right? You know, you don't think about the things that you right now have, right? It's like, if you I'm sure you guys would have seen this, like, illustrations, like, a guy who has legs looks at a guy who's riding a bicycle. A guy who's riding a bicycle looks at a guy who's driving a motorbike, or riding a motorbike, I should say. And then that guy looks at a guy who's driving a car, and then there's this guy who has no legs at all looking at this guy who's walking, for example, right? And it's just that the grass is greener on the other side. Sometimes we only tend to focus on what we don't have, right, rather than what we actually have. And rather than comparing, I want you guys to kind of take a look at what you guys do have and be grateful for it, because it's so easy to forget. For those of you who want a partner and things like that, like, if you have a loving family, if your parents are still around, if you have all of your family members still alive and healthy, that's a big deal. Like, be grateful for that. I see so many people, like, being unhappy during, like, festive seasons, when they don't have an SP, for example, right? And I get it. I totally understand that, especially if you're in your 20s or 30s. Like, I totally understand that. But your folks are still around, your parents are still around, your siblings are still around, right? Notice that, be grateful for that, cherish that, celebrate that, right? Rather than just noticing the absence of one single person, right? And what's the best part? And some of you may get offended by this or whatsoever, but honestly, I really have to say this, is that you don't even know if this is the person you will actually end up with down the line, right? Because like, the focus on SP changes sometimes. Like, you may want to manifest another person down the line or something like that, right? So that could potentially change, and that's a fact, right? So think about it, right? If, let's say, a year from now, or maybe even 6 months from now, you don't even want to manifest that SP, and then you look back at this time thinking, why the heck was I so worried about like, manifesting this person, or why was I so low during this time, just because I didn't have this person during then. I wish I could have spent this time with my family happily, for example. You could feel that, but by the time it'll be too late, because 6 months have passed by, and time, as we experience it, at least, never comes back, right? So you have to ask yourself, then, was it all worth it? Was that worry, was that sorrow, that feelings that I went through, was it all worth it? Was beating myself up worth it at that time? Because 6 months from now, I don't even want this SP. I'm not saying, like, you wouldn't want your SP down the line. Like, doesn't apply to all of you. I'm just giving you a context, right? Or even better yet, 6 months from now, let's say you are happy together with your SP, and you look back knowing what you know, would you still allow yourself to feel crappy during this time? Probably not. Probably not. And this is something that you have to realize and recognize, and pull yourself away from that feeling like crap all the time, and feeling lonely and things like that. It's really unnecessary. You don't have to. Notice all the abundance. Go and celebrate it with your friends. If you have to, go and celebrate it with your family members. Be grateful, cherish all your relationships. Love comes in all different ways, right? So it's not just through a romantic partner, for example. It can come through all different ways. Show love to your mother, your father, your siblings, your friends, right? The ones who have been there for you. And cherish all these people, right? That's love too, right? Don't like, glorify this idea of, like, just experiencing love from just this one person. And don't think that if you don't have that, like, it's the end all be all type of situation, especially during the festive seasons. It's not, right? And I feel like a lot of people are comparing themselves a lot these days, and I feel like, don't. Look at all the abundance you have, be grateful for it, because some people don't even have that. Think about folks who don't even have parents, think about folks who lost someone, right? And you're telling me when you have all these people, like imagine what they would do to be in your position, to spend one more day with their loved one, you know and when you put it that way, I don't mean to like make you feel like I don't mean to make this like a very downer kind of video, but I really want to really emphasize the idea that you have a lot of people around you. There's a lot of people that who care for you, who cherish you, and things like that. Embrace that and don't allow yourself to feel lonely or crappy, because you don't have to. That's a choice that you are making based on the quote unquote evidence that you are seeing in the 3D right now. Whatever that you're going through right now could very well be a very temporary situation that's not probably going to last that long either, right? Like it may last for maybe maybe a week or two, and if you're persisting, you never know, like SP might come during the new year, or a week from that. And so what if they didn't come on the new year day itself? So what if they come a week after that? Will it truly matter? No. But are you going to tell me that you're going to spend every single day towards that feeling like crap? No, right? And that's the thing that I want you guys to understand, right? So stop comparing. Be grateful for all the things that you actually have in your life, because chances are you're going to attract more abundance into your life, including the love that you are seeking. So that's that, right? And recognize that when it comes to social media, you are essentially peeking into someone's life through a window, right? And there's only so much you can see through a window of a house, right? Like it's not like you can see the entire house, right? And social media is a curation of people's best moments. I can tell you right now, just based on what I know, either with clients or friends or whatsoever, and you guys would have seen it too, is you may know a person going through XYZ things, but on social media you would have no clue at all. You would have zero clue of this person going through this, right? But it doesn't negate the fact that they actually are going through those things. And this is something that I'm not saying like where every time when you see someone going through something wonderful in their life, just think like, oh, they're probably going through crap and they're lying. That's not the point. The point is, don't think like, wow, their life is so wonderful and mine isn't, and why am I going wrong? Don't use it as a reason to beat yourself up, especially during the festive seasons, right? If they have, like, if your friends or if someone else have like a relationship that's thriving, be happy for them, because it's not like just because they have it you won't have it. Like, you being happy for them doesn't hurt your chances of you getting into one, right? And this is something that, like, I have seen a lot of people, and it really surprised me actually, to be very honest with you guys, like, which I also sometimes could think that it's a little immature as well, if I'm really being outwardly spoken, is that like, oh, they have it and I don't, life is so unfair. Like, really? Like, you are a master manifester, you are the operant power, and you are telling me you're going to look at someone else's life, being in a happy loving relationship, and say life is so unfair? Like, I've literally heard those words before. I kid you not. And when I see these kinds of things, and I'm like, like, whatever that you are learning then is futile, because you can see it in two different ways. You can see it as, that's a potential, the higher self is showing me something that I could manifest for myself. If they are me pushed out, that means I am capable of experiencing that love as the person that I am right now as well. That means that that's a potential right there, right? That I am capable of experiencing, because if everyone is me pushed out, that's me pushed out too. I can experience that as well, right? So don't, like, let that, like, remove, you, like, like, pull you down essentially, right? Like, don't let that get to you, because just because someone is going through something, right, like happy or things like that, doesn't mean that it means that there's less things for you. And I really want to emphasize that, right? So don't compare yourself, don't, just like, whenever you, especially through social media or something, don't feel bad about the whole thing, right? And I also want to talk about something else, is don't put, like, wait to be happy until that event comes to pass, right? So don't wait till like that event for you to become happy. That's totally unfair for you, right? Because time waits for no one. At least again, in the way that we experience it on a linear fashion, time waits for no one, right? And so what I would do if I were you is just enjoy the time, knowing that my desire is already a done deal. I would just enjoy the time up until then, right? Rather than noticing the lag thereof. Because the moment I notice the lag thereof, what does it do? It pulls me out of that state, right? Manifesting in simple terms is all about maintaining the ideal state of mind, right? If I want to be a millionaire, I maintain the state of mind of a millionaire in my mind. And I visualize scenes which implies that I talk to myself as though I am a millionaire and just go through life. And before I know it, I'm already a millionaire, right? So that's essentially the essence of manifesting. And I do this and I maintain this state regardless of what I see in the 3D. If I have to pay rent, if I have to do XYZ, I still maintain this state of a millionaire until it comes to pass. Same thing with love, same thing with health, and so on, right? And I see people doing anything but that, like in the sense that when I see people like manifesting an SP, especially during this kind of festive times, they are not in that state, right? 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, they are not in that state. Rather, what they are doing is they are putting pressure on themselves. They are noticing the time coming closer and closer and closer, and they're thinking, oh shoot, I still don't have it yet. Where is it? You're out of that state. You are out of that state right now. And what are you doing for yourself, right? So when you see it that way, you kind of realize, like, are you really manifesting? And these are the type of folks who will go out there on forums and Facebook groups and say, like, I've been trying to manifest for a year. Maybe you started this journey a year ago, but you have not been manifesting for a year. Let me just say that right now, because I don't think that folks really kind of understand that it only begins when you are starting to maintain the state of mind. Essentially, that's when it begins. And rapidly changing states do not manifest. The ones that are dominant in your mind, in order to, like, for it to become dominant, you have to sustain it. Especially if you have a lot of resistance to it, you have to sustain that state in order for it to manifest. So as the time is approaching closer, you can't be like, oh no, where is it? Continue to maintain that state. It will be yours. And the other thing that people say is like, oh well, but it's hard, right? Think about it this way. I'm not asking you to do anything else. All I'm asking is just maintain a state of mind for you to receive it in life. It's about as simple as it can get, right? But people will try to do anything but that, right? They would try to text the SP. They would try to, send them, things on social media, or like try to do things for them to impress them, or think about ways of winning them over, make it all about them, right? And things like that. Whereas all you really have to do is just maintain a state of mind and let them come to you. I see a huge lack of trust in the process. I see a lot of people being impatient, right? And that's the thing, like, I really want to emphasize that like, festive days are just another day at the end of the day. Like if you really think about it, right? Does it really matter if you celebrate Christmas with your SP, or if, let's say, they come a day later? Like, would it truly matter if they come a day after Christmas or day after the New Year's? Would it make it any less special? No, it won't. It'll still be something worth celebrating to you. So don't put pressure on this just because it's what society expects you to do, right? And you putting it out there on social media that, hey, I'm actually doing this with my SP, isn't going to make it any better, isn't going to make it any sweeter, right? Like, I'm sorry to say that, because, like, if you think like, okay, I really want to get together with my SP on this and so day, and I'm going to share it with all my folks, and I'm going to show the world how happy I am, that means you're really not happy. If your happiness comes from you sharing it with the world, that's not happiness at all. Like, happiness is something that you derive from within. And that's the thing that I feel like a lot of people seem to be kind of missing sometimes is, this is something that, like, happiness is something that's generated within. And here's the deal. You can have someone and still feel like crap inside. You can have 10 people around you and still feel lonely. And what that means is that it's all something that you give to yourself. Now, I give that meaning that having a person makes me feel love, right? That's why, I feel that because I assign that meaning. That's how powerful you are. I realized that through my own journey. Is whenever I'm with certain groups of people, I feel lonely. But when I'm with certain groups of people, I feel loved, cherished. But you know what's the common denominator there? Me. They didn't do anything, right? Like they didn't do anything to make me feel that way. I mean, like conversation and interactions, yes, but fundamentally when it boils down to it, it's all me. I'm choosing to get, like affected, if you will, in a certain way. Then, allowing myself to feel a certain way in all of these things. It's all about you at the end of the day, right? So, you can make the lack of, like SP during that day, like something, okay, I'm going to spend maybe my time, with myself and, think about all the things that I'm grateful for. I'm going to spend this time with my family and I'm going to allow myself to feel happy regardless because I already know it's mine. You can do that, or you can choose to feel lonely, right? Noticing the lack, right? And the question is, what are you going to do, right? You can make your life heaven or hell based on your thoughts. And it's really about what are you going to do, right? And, at the end of the day, regardless of who's in your life or not, you are responsible for your own happiness. It's always your responsibility. People can do things to cheer you up, people can say things, but if you don't feel it here, it's all on you. It's really all on you. It's always on you, right? It's all about like how, you have the power to, give yourself all of these things. You don't need anyone else, guys, to make you feel that, right? I remember like ever since I was maybe like 12 or 13, for example, right? I would go and watch movies alone. Some of the first movies I ever watched was like Avengers, right? Like I think it was like 2012 or 2013. And I used to be so happy, right? Like I would go all by myself, right? And I would just like, grab some snacks and things like that, and I just go and watch the movies. Because some days, yes, like I bring my friends, but some days, I just like to go and watch the movie and just enjoy the experience, right? Because I just want to watch it on a big screen. And when my friends heard that down the line when I was like 16 or 17, some folks were like, that's so sad. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, doing things alone can actually be fun. And I'm not saying like, go ahead and like do everything alone, but I'm like saying like, don't afraid to be alone, right? Being around people can be overrated, and don't let society's perception of it kind of get to you that way. Sitting down with your thoughts and being there by yourself allows you to, reflect and like see like all those things, like monitor your chatter, and it does a lot of benefit. It allows you to really observe your thoughts and kind of recognize like what's going on in your mind and so on, right? And on a festive season, like I totally understand, right? Like you wouldn't want to be alone, but if that situation is the case, don't make it something like go for a walk, like go and see things, right? Like you know do something, go for an activity, go and treat yourself for a good meal, go and put up a movie, and make it like enjoyable for yourself. If you're living far away from your family or something like that, go and make it enjoyable for yourself, right? If you are like forced to spend like this alone, right, do something that will make you happy, right? At the end of the day, you are responsible for it, right? And if you are like, okay, look, but I really really want this to happen, like I really want SP to be there by then, right? Act like it, maintain that state, stop like noticing the lag thereof, persist in the assumption, right? Don't think like, okay, how do I manifest on a time crunch, right? Like maintain that state as much as possible. Stop noticing the lag, maintain favorable inner dialogues. Don't be angry at your SP, don't be mad at them, right? Don't beat yourself up, focus on your goal, right? And make that a priority, right? Are you like maintaining favorable dialogue morning, noon and night consistently? Are you maintaining that favorable state of mind morning, noon and night consistently, right? Or are you letting like circumstances dictate it? You have to ask yourself like what am I doing, right? And I'm not saying it's impossible, it's definitely possible, but my point is, don't get so hung up on this that you miss moments of your life that you may not possibly get, right? As I'm growing up and whatnot, right? I'm in my early 20s right now, and time just seems to fly. Like, I kid you not, as of now, when I'm making this video, it's been 1 year since I started a YouTube channel. Like, I can't believe it. I was like, wait, what? It's been already a year for me. And I just can't believe it right now. I really can't believe it. I didn't realize, like, time just flew by, right? And, like, this is like, it was like a realization for me. Like, I better enjoy all the remaining time I have in my life. Like, not that I have not been enjoying, but, like, this is another wake up call. Like, time just flies sometimes, and you really have to make use of it. You can't afford to spend, the time in between your manifestations feeling like crap all the time, because that's not the point of manifesting. The point of manifesting, I made a post about it yesterday as well, again, as of this video's recording, I guess, is the idea that, the point of manifesting is to, alleviate any form of stress and worry and doubts and fears you may have, right? It's the idea that, okay, my higher self is going to sort it out for me, the genie within me is going to sort it out for me, and in the meantime I'm going to enjoy my life. That's the point of manifesting. It is not like, and I see people doing the exact opposite, because now they know this. They're like, well, why isn't this here yet? They get over analytical about this, right? Throw logic out of the window and enjoy your life. It will come to you. It has to. If you persist in the assumption that it's already yours, it has to come to you. Dream like a child, but in the meantime, go ahead and enjoy your life. That's what a child does. A child wants to be a pilot. He or she will imagine themselves wearing that uniform and flying on a plane. They don't think, well, I have to take, I have to pass XYZ tests. I have to, qualify for this. I have to fly this many hours on an airplane. No, they just focus on, like, that experience. What does it feel like? Wouldn't it be wonderful? That's how a child dreams, and they just go by their life, right? And rediscovering that part of yourself is really, I would say, key to stop feeling this way right now. And so my point is this, right? Like, at the end of the day, make it easy for yourself, right? Understand that at the end of the day, with or without an SP, during the festive seasons or any part of the year for that matter, it's always about you. You are responsible for your own happiness. And if you want to, like, really, really want to manifest your SP by this time, focus, buckle down, right? Be very strict, have that self-discipline, right? Rather than going on forums and complaining or thinking, like, why isn't this happening, or this is unfair and all that kind of stuff, right? Buckle down and focus. Assume that you already have it. Don't entertain anything else, contradictory to this. Maintain favorable thoughts as much as possible. It has to pan out in your favor, right? And remember, like, you are the operant power. You have the ability to manifest whatever you desire. And, stop thinking that it's impossible, but also stop putting pressure on yourself in the name of this. Life has so much more to offer rather than just one person, right? You can receive that love, care, and attention from, like, any other place as well. You don't just have to receive it from one single person, right? Have that abundance mindset. Receiving love, care, and attention from your parents is the same as well. It's invaluable. Again, think about the folks who don't even have parents right now. Think about the folks who don't even have a sibling right now, right? So, like, notice all the abundance in your life. Be grateful for it. That's going to attract more into your life. And, if you recognize that, like, I feel like, you wouldn't put pressure on yourself so much. And, what this does is kind of detach yourself from this desire, allowing it to come in easier as well. So you are doing yourself a lot of good here by doing so. So, guys, with that said, I know this video was long. I know this video was, like, pretty brutally honest, I would say. But, again, my intention is for you guys to manifest all that you want with ease. And, I really want you guys to grasp this concept and really, manifest whatever you want and be happy in life. That is my objective with all these things. So thank you guys so much for watching. And we're going to be reaching 1,000 subscribers soon. And I will be giving out 1 week of DM coaching when we do so. All you have to do is subscribe and follow my Seeker of Wisdom page on Instagram, and you're automatically in. And I'll be announcing a winner when the channel hits 1,000 subscribers. So if this video resonated with you, be sure to drop a like and a comment. If you guys have any questions, turn on the bell notification so that you guys will know when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay safe and happy manifesting. Peace.